and this is more of a rant we're going to have here, so fair warning in advance. We're going to rant about this one.
Oh, jeez.
Goofballs
ranting.
I know you're shocked. But yeah, apparently Marc Ross, who I feel like works at the NFL Network only to be a douche to Giants. Because the only time I ever see anything about Marc Ross is when he says something about the Giants. Is it just me? Like, seriously, guys.
That's what it feels like. I mean, it could be our market, but
yeah, like, does he talk about anything else but the Giants? Legitimately, I have the NFL Network, and I have it on my phone only because it's coming with the NFL Plus thing. But it's the only time I ever like watch the NFL Network is for like an actual game or like the draft. That's it. So, but yeah. Anyway, he came on and said there that basically the Giants should have taken a quarterback. He said, "Great receivers do not save bad quarterbacks." And then he proceeded to even mention Kyler Murray as a great quarterback. So it was okay for them to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Guys, if that's not telling you all you need to know about how glad we should be that we don't have Marc Ross as an executive on this team anymore, I'm sorry, but that's absolutely the case. He even took credit for the OBJ pick, which I don't know how much he actually had involved. We'd have to talk to people that were in the rooms, those kind of conversations. But he's like, yeah, when we drafted OBJ, we still had Eli, who was a proven veteran quarterback. First off, a couple notes on that. And we put it on Twitter. If you don't think having a good wide receiver room helps a bad quarterback, I want you to ask Geno Smith. Because he looked like crap his entire career until he got DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. Russell Wilson looked very good his entire career until he lost DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Kirk Cousins is not a good quarterback, guys. But you know what makes you look a good quarterback? Having Stephon Diggs and then JJ.
You're not wrong for your analogies. I am also going to rebuttal with that because how long was Russell Wilson with the Seahawks? Because he did not have Metcalf or Lockett his whole career. But what he did have was a fantastic defense that got the ball back really fast because they're great at picks and turnovers, which allowed him to make rookie mistakes without having a big sacrifice to a turnover, as if any other quarterback making a turnover with a bad defense. But at the time, and it's, God, if we're talking 10 years ago, he was drafted 2012. I don't recall whose receivers were at the time, but he's definitely had some talent in that room, and you're not wrong for making that assessment.
Like I said,
Kirk Cousins wasn't good until he left after he got drafted and had some receivers around him. So you're 100% right.
To me, it's like you could have a you could say that a quarterback is bad. But you can also sit there and say, hey, we're going to put this good receiver on him, and that's going to go ahead and make him better. By the way, I did look it up out of curiosity for you, since you mentioned Russell Wilson being there for so long, as far as that, which, again, you're not wrong on that either. But when Russell Wilson first got there, they had Sidney Rice, Golden Tate, and Zach Miller.
Golden Tate, there you go. Because he was so good.
And then Tyler Lockett was there by his fourth year.
He's that old?
Yes, he is. He's like 31. He's always had good receivers. Russell Wilson.
I wasn't disputing that.
I'm just saying that for people who take. I'm just saying it for people who take that because I knew he had good receivers this whole time, and that's why I used that analogy. I just couldn't remember off the top of my head who his receivers were when he first got there.
Yeah,
but
my big thing. I analyzed Wilson from the get go because he made mistakes. He dropped. Who was he? 5th round pick in that 2012 draft.
He was a 3rd round pick. He was a 3rd round pick. Kirk Cousins was the 4th round pick in that draft.
Correct. So, like, he had the opportunity to make the mistakes. I remember the Seattle's Legion of Boom. So when you got him, So like he had the opportunity.
Like I
to
said,
make
I'm just to me it's the
but
perfect example.
you're not wrong.
Here you have a really bad quarterback. Okay, let's be honest. Geno Smith was never a good quarterback in the league prior to Seattle. So you have a really bad quarterback that has had a bad career, went to a lot of places as a backup, got punched in the face by a teammate even because
When he was a starter, wasn't
that's
a
the kind of
backup. He was a
issues he
starter.
had. You know, he plays with the Jets, plays with the Giants, plays with the Chargers, then goes to the Seahawks. And all of a sudden with the Seahawks, after riding the bench with them for 2 years, Russell Wilson leaves, he comes in and he lights it up for 4,200 yards and 30 touchdowns.
2 years, I thought he was part of the Russell Wilson trade.
Who?
Geno Smith.
No, he was the backup for 2 years prior to that.
Was he?
Because they said that year they're going to let Geno Smith and Geno Smith and Drew Lock fight it out because Drew Lock was part of that trade, who's now on our team. Drew Lock was the quarterback they got. But yeah, then you got Russell Wilson, who was with the Seahawks for so many years. It's not even funny. Played 10 years, a full decade with this team. A really good 10 years where he literally averaged 10.5 wins a season. Like that's a nice 10-year stretch.
He probably averaged like 4.
You know, wins a Super Bowl.
Mid 400.
Should have won a second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he goes in there like that. Comes out a Hall of Fame quarterback potentially, basically. And
soured his career by becoming a Bronco.
He does an Amber Heard in Denver and just shits the bed.
Yeah. Let's ride.
Yeah, like I said, and that's what I'm saying. The big difference is the scenario change. And you can't say it's the defense because the defense got worse in Seattle as things progressed there. Don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson also got a little worse as things progressed there. It's definitely part of the equation, the defense. But having a good wide receiver makes you better. I mean, even look at Eli Manning's last couple of years. Like when he got OBJ, he got a lot better all of a sudden. His numbers improved. Now OBJ was what? Was it 2014? I want to say
13.
Let's see. I'm going to look it up here. I didn't plan on having this part of the conversation.
No. What is he? 13?
It was 14. It was 14. That was his rookie year. So
he's drafted 13. Okay.
No, he's drafted 14. You drafted the same year as your rookie year. So he has 4,900 yards he throws for in 2011. Okay, which by the way was, I believe, his highest ever. Yeah, he would have been the first Giant probably to hit 5,000 yards. I don't think it's ever been hit. He does that. Prior 2 seasons, both over 4,000 yards. Then goes to 39-48, 38-18. So it starts dropping. Then you get OBJ, 4,400, 4,400. And then 4,000, then 3,400. And then 4,000 again. But he started dropping off a little bit. And then OBJ got better. Got him better at that point. He kind of fixed some of the issues. So, like I said, I just look at that kind of stuff. Like even like 2013, his touchdown percentage, Eli, was 3.3% of his passes. His next 2 years, 5 and 5.7. You don't think having a good quarterback matters?
Of course it does.
So I'm saying
it is a real football relationship because a quarterback and a receiver will make each other look better
100%
every step of the way.
It's 3 factors that matter: how good the quarterback is, how good the wide receiver is, and what kind of communication they have together.
Okay, I'll go with that. I was going to say the relationship, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah, the same.
It's the same. How
some
they deal with each other
work very well with receivers. Some of them are just a pain in the butt and don't want to do the work. So You know, if you don't want to do the work and you got a receiver that wants to put in the work, that's going to be an issue. You got vice versa, that can be an issue. Some quarterbacks will work around it. So I'm just saying, for him to sit there and say that great receivers don't save bad quarterbacks. Duh. First off, a bad quarterback will look below average with a good receiver. A below average quarterback will look average. An average quarterback will look above average.
Right.
That's the way it works. Now, here's the second duh for Marc Ross. Great receivers don't save bad quarterbacks. What you're doing is you're making the insinuation that that pick was made to save Daniel Jones. That's an asinine assumption.
Or he was the best player available, but
no. But what I'm saying is, the Giants actively tried to trade down to get Drake May this year. So why would you think that pick was there to save Daniel Jones when they've clearly decided to move on from Daniel Jones?
Or how many reports in the dozens that were made about how many quarterbacks that come into MetLife to possibly put on blue, not green? And you're going to say, we're trying to save Daniel Jones because we brought in JJ, we brought in Drake, we brought in everyone.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this was not a move to save Daniel Jones. This was a move to improve the team because we didn't have a number one wide receiver. They don't grow on trees. They don't hit the market very often. And so to say great receivers don't save bad quarterbacks is one of the most asinine statements I've ever heard Marc Ross say, if not anyone on the NFL network. That is the dumbest thing. That's like saying we should just keep on drafting quarterbacks till we hit on one. Who are we, the Atlanta Falcons? The New York Jets? I mean, like, seriously, you don't. Now, if you have a quarterback that you think could be your starter in the future, it could be your future franchise QB, and he's available, and you need one, and you don't take him, you're a freaking moron. I'm going to say that up front. But the Giants had the chance of taking J.J. McCarthy. They had the chance of taking Michael Penix. They had the chance to take Bo Nix. They didn't. They didn't think they were that good. Now, it doesn't take anybody but to watch one or two episodes of our draft stuff to know that we liked Penix. We thought he was that good, but we didn't have the time that they had with him. They didn't have the chance to see them. We didn't have the chance to see the medicals they got to see and all that kind of stuff. Who knows what their issue was with him? But they didn't think he was worth a 6-pick selection. And if that's the case, don't reach.
And most of the NFL scouts and most of the NFL analysis also would have agreed with he's not worth a 6th-round pick over
6th overall pick.
Yeah, sorry.
I was say
that. I apologize. You're right. 6th overall pick, the 6th pick in the 2024 draft.
The 6th pick. He was 2024.
Yeah, he was not. He wasn't there. Like, but most analysis and most NFL experts will say at pick number 8 he was not worth it when he got drafted, which probably put a higher run on QBs in this draft that was speculated to happen. So, like, the Giants were betting that, hopefully you can trade up back in the back end. The draft's done with, obviously we can't speculate because it's done. Yeah. It's over with. But they made the right choice of taking a generational wide receiver that could make this team way better no matter who the quarterback is.
I guess to me, it's just like do you want a team to keep reaching? Do you want to keep on doing it? Because you know what happens? Not only do you not have a quarterback, but you don't have a team around a quarterback when you do that. So yeah, we could have drafted any of those quarterbacks that were available. We could have. But is the team that better if they draft a quarterback that the team and the front office and coaching staff have no faith in whatsoever? They fall flat on their face because of that. Because let's be honest, that's going to hurt their ability to do that. Or are you better off trying to build a team until one of those guys becomes available to us?
reaching and picking the wrong player doesn't only
Yes.
hurt the coaching staff and the team, but the overall morale of the team in general.
Oh yeah. Could you imagine? Like a guy comes in, he sucks right away as a quarterback, and they're like, "What the hell? We could have had Malik Nabers," and he goes off like a 1,200-yard season or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. And with Jimmy Garoppolo thrown to him or something.
Yeah, like
You're gonna tell me that
just
Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Daniel Jones? Like
this short-sighted BS that Marc Ross was spitting proves to me that we made the right decision by letting him go. Because that explains a lot of why we had the drafting issues we've had for so long. Because if there was someone at the building in a very high position that thought that we were drafting a receiver purely to help Daniel Jones, you're a moron, dude. We drafted him because we drafted him to have him for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Not to have him try to fix Daniel Jones this year. Because let's be honest, I don't think most people think there's a fixing of Daniel Jones. What we're hoping is that if we get Daniel Jones as a starter this year, that he at least looks like Daniel Jones of 22 and not Daniel Jones of 23. And if he looks like Daniel Jones of 2022, and you can put in front of him Malik Nabers, and he's a legit number one receiver. If you put in front of him Wan'Dale Robinson, and he's a 100-catch guy like me and Rob both said we think he could be, and you put in front of him a couple of good young tight ends in Bellinger and Theo Johnson, you might have something even better than 22. And when 22, keep in mind, we went to the playoffs. We won a playoff game. It's not like we haven't gone to the playoffs in 10 years. It's not about this year, guys. It's about the future long term. Don't let the talking head morons like Marc Ross get you all riled up. Because I'm telling you right now, that man is a vendetta against the Giants because I've never heard him say a goddamn positive thing about this team. It's a personal vendetta, and the NFL Network should be embarrassed and ashamed to have this man with a mic on their screen. Point blank. I'll go that deep into it. So,
at least when it comes to reporting about the Giants, because obviously he is salty.
Very salty. That man is more salty than Mr. Peanut himself. Just saying.
He's got all the nuts.
He is nuts, that's for damn sure. All right.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.